Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the flight deck. Today we are continuing on with our tour of the U.S. capitals. We're currently down in Hartford, Connecticut. We're going to be flying up to the northwest to the state capital of New York, which is Albany, an airport I've actually flown into and cleared customs in many years ago when I was flying. We're flying the airplane Heaven DC-3 with the Ductworks mod pack installed to it. And as you can kind of see, we have a little bit of an issue here. So if we switch over to our camera here, you can see there's a haze in the air. This is a result of the wildfires that are hitting from all over Quebec and New England and near Ottawa, and we're even getting some of the smoke from the prairie wildfires here in Toronto today. Walked outside, you can see the haze and smell the smoky wood burn smell. So it's going to make it an interesting flight. It's actually a beautiful day, but the haze is actually killing the visibility. So we'll see what happens. Flying along with us should be Kevin. He was parked over there. I know we were having a livery issue with his LOD. He was showing up as a pink airplane with texture issues, but he was there just before we started the stream. Not sure whether that's just the multiplayer bug or whatever's happening, but we will jump on board and get the aircraft ready and set up. Okay, so we're going to close up the doors in the back. Here we go, and we can get the airplane up and going. So we're going to come up, we're going to plug in the battery cart, which we're now on, and to get ourselves up and ready to go, we're going to turn on our position lights. We are going to turn on the cockpit lights just because it's a little bit dark in here actually, given that haze and everything. All right, so we can get the engines up and running and everything going. No, Kevin, you disappeared. In fact, I think I've lost everybody, so I think it's just the multiplayer bug. So we're plugged in. We've got the fire extinguishers and our marshaller down here ready to go. So let's start up the engines. Check cowl flaps are all open. All right, we're going to go with the right engine first. So mags are on. We're going to turn mags to both on the right engine. Generator is going to go to the on switch. We'll come down now. Mixture is going to go into auto rich. Propeller is going to go fully forward, and we're going to crack the throttle about an inch. And we should be good to crank. Alright, so right engine, we are now energizing. We'll turn on the boost pumps. Something I always forget to do. We're going to switch the fuel tanks on. There we go. Right main tank. So fuel pressure is up. And we will mesh right and hit the primer. Did not start. Let me try again. Mixture is auto rich. Propeller is fully forward. Throttle is cracked. We're doing the right engine. Fuel is on auto. We can see it bouncing there. Mags are on. Engine aircraft has power. Make sure our beacon light is on as well. Alright, energizing the right engine again. And mesh, primer. There we go. Engine's now up and running. This is going to make an interesting fight in all this haze. There she is coming up. We'll just ease that up to 1,000 RPMs. There we are. Alright, we'll get the other engine up and going. So mixture's going to come up to auto rich. Prop's going to go fully forward. We're going to bring the throttle up about an inch. Everything's clear on that side. Mags to both. Energizing left. Letting her spin up. Alright, and meshing left and primer. Try that one again. Everything is looking correct. Oh, get the generator on. Fuel boost pump on. That's probably why it didn't go. Energizing. Alright, sounds like she's up to speed. Mesh prime. And there we have her. Alright, let's get these windows closed. There we go. So both engines are going to come up and stabilize. While we wait for that, we're going to switch over to the aircraft battery. We'll disconnect the battery cart. Turn our avionics on. Turn our pitot heat on. Boost pump will stay on. Generators are good. We're going to tune over to 122.8. There we go. Both engines are now at about 1,000 RPM. And we are looking good. So we're going to do a quick radio call. See if we're being heard. Not sure if Kevin's up on the channel yet or not. Hartford terminal traffic, Albany 105 radio check. Hartford area terminal, Albany 105 radio check.
5x5 for American 1 Echo Heavy.
5x5. Alright, so we have radios. We're going to squawk 5556, which is our well-known number. We'll put that over there now. And we're going to be using a couple VORs today. The first one is going to be the, I think it's the Carter VOR, 115.1. There we go. We'll put that in. And the second one is the Albany VOR of 115.3. And we're going to be tracking inbound to both of them as nav aids for us today. So we're already picking up the Albany VOR. If we need to, we can track outbound from the Hartford VOR as well. But we want the 352 radio on the outbound. That's going to be about there. And we can, will be about there as well. Alright. So everything is coming in line as the engines warm up. We'll just get our autopilot stuff ready to go. And we are going to be using the autopilot, so we will turn that over so that we are on the proper hydraulics for it. Still not seeing Kevin down there, unfortunately. Oh, he's already out at the back there. Alright, in his pink airplane. Everyone's behind me, that's why I'm not seeing anyone ahead. Alright, we are warmed up and pretty much ready to go. Let me get my charts up. Hartford area traffic, Allegheny 105, taxiing runway 02 via the apron, Charlie Alpha crossing runway 29er and holding at Alpha. Alright, so we are ready to go.
We short runway 02 at Whiskey Backtrack runway 02, take position runway 29er.
So the winds are slightly favoring the north runway, so that's what we're going to use. Just going to spin in place here. It looks pretty in pink. No, it does not. But you can really see that haze out there right now. Let's head it this way. Very small airfield here.
And after traffic quick one, I think we are on position runway 29er. We are holding runway 29er and passing straight out to the north.
29er. We're using 02. There he goes. Now the aircraft looks fine really close up, but we figure there's an LOD issue with distance. We're going to check it out, make sure that we can fix that for future flights, since that is the livery he's going to be using. There he goes. Be interesting to see what this smog is like. So we got a cruise altitude of 8,000 feet, which is what we're going to go up to. We're going to see if we can get above all this stuff. Hopefully we can. Hartford area traffic, Allegheny 105 crossing runway 29 on Alpha to take position runway 02 Allegheny. Alright, so we're going to go one notch of flaps. Ourselves out on the runway now. A little fast for a tailwheel airplane, but that's fine. After all, this is multiplayer. Just kind of having some fun. There we go. Aircraft is set. We'll come up top. So, avionics are on, beacon lights are on, landing lights are now both on, position lights are on. Tail lights on, windshield heat not required, pitos on, wing de-ice not required, engine primers not required, prop de-icing not required. We're on there, everything is good. Generators, boost pumps are on, and cockpit lights are on. Hey David, oh that's good to hear. Tell me what your route was. I'd be interested to know. So mixture is fully rich, and the props are fully forward. We're getting enough fuel. We're just going to stay on the main tanks for this flight, and we should be good to go. Hartford area traffic, Allegheny 105, rolling 02, departure to the north. All right, so we'll Bring the engines up. Brakes released. Bringing the manifold pressure up to 40 inches for takeoff. A little bit of forward pressure on the stick to help that tail wheel come up, working that rudder, keeping us straight, rudder and brakes. And a little bit of left aileron to counteract that wind. There's 80 knots. Easing off the forward pressure. And we are up. Gear coming up. Stansted to Manchester. Oh, that's fantastic. Glad it worked out, and hopefully you'll be able to join us one of these days on one of our VATSIM flights, or multiplayer flights for that matter. Alright. So we are climbing up now. We can see we're got both needles coming in. VRR1 is the big thick needle, and that's the first one we're going to. That's CTR. So we're just climbing out to 1,000 feet before we begin any turns. We'll bring up the flaps now. Keep the speed building slowly. We don't want our nose to get too far down. So we want to turn to a heading of 352 roughly. So we're going to dial in 350 on the autopilot, and we'll adjust our trim. So autopilot's now on. We'll let the aircraft settle. Turning on our rudder. And we're now going to some up climb going. Get that speed down to about 120 for that climb. So we're off to the VOR. You can see that haze layer out here. It is absolutely horrendous. And as I said, when I walked outside earlier today, I could smell that smoke. And it was something else. So we're going to bring the props back to 2,500 RPM now for climb. And the power back to 3,500. And as we climb out, we can do our tricks. So landing lights will come off. We can turn off the boost pumps. We're going to leave the cockpit lights on low as we climb out. If we need to, we can put our sidewall light on there, but we should be okay. I'm going to turn on the compass light. And how we're doing. We're holding about 120, which is what we want as we come up. I think that's the haze layer right there. You can see it down there. Horrendous. Alright, we're tracking pretty good. We're almost right on. So the winds aren't too bad for us. We're coming up for 3,000 feet. So we're going to nudge down slightly on the aileron or the elevator trim. We don't want to get below 110, so we'll just keep nudging to make sure we stay below it. That is going to decrease our rate of climb, but we're going to have to live with that. The other thing we're going to do is watch our manifold pressure as we climb up. We're going to keep pushing forward on the throttles to maintain that 35 inches. And this is standard practice in a piston powered aircraft, especially when you're dealing with constant speed props and everything like that, where you can actually see your manifold pressures. You're constantly working them to make sure that you are good. There's 4,000 feet. We're not going to be up at cruise altitude for long. So we're going to be heading up. We've got the mountains coming up, which we can just kind of make out under the cloud layer here. So it'll be interesting to see what we got. Looking at the weather, it says there's an overcast layer at 3,600 out of Hartford, where we were. Checking the weather currently out at Albany. The weather is reporting 3 miles of visibility in haze of fluid clouds at 4,600, broken at 6,000, overcast 25, and yeah, it's got the haze, so that's going to be interesting as we fly in there. So while we're climbing up, we're not going to be having any in-flight entertainment today, given the nature of the aircraft, but what I will do is I will go into here, click on here, and we will get us a little bit of tunes going in the background. There we go. So I have flown into Albany, New York in real life. Did it on a trip when I was heading down to Boston. We cleared customs in Albany. We're flying 172. There's 4 of us flying down from my home airport in Ontario. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Pretty busy place. We had 2 aircraft ahead of us clearing when we got there. Alright, we're going to ease forward on the trim again, and we're going to come back, power up to 35 inches. Keep that airspeed coming up as we climb 2,500 feet to go to cruise altitude. Weather is looking pretty miserable out there. I will say that. See us climb up. There's Kevin over there. He's almost at 8,000 feet. And a lot of traffic over that way. That's down towards the Boston, New York area. Or not Boston, New York area. But man, it is nothing but a gray wall out here. Tiny gap in the clouds. Well, don't know how long that's going to last you. So once we hit cruise, we're going to go down to 30 inches. So as long as I can reach 30 inches in cruise, we're good. Anything lower than that, we'd have to go into the blowers. Those are these here. If I put those forward and activate the blowers. And what the blowers do would be ramming compressed air into the manifolds for the engines. And increase that pressure for us in the thinner air of altitude, but we're not going up high enough to be needing them today. Plus it's not hot enough out there for it. So it's only about 85 miles direct line to our destination, but we're doing a bit of a dog leg. Not sure what route Kevin's doing, if he's just going direct. But we are going by the CTR VOR. So 700 feet to go. Yeah, that's number 1. That's the one I want. And number 2 is going to be 319. It's going to be about there, but that's fine. Ah, okay. You're on the same route I am. So we're drifting off slightly. We'll adjust a little bit further west. There we go. And there's 8,000 feet coming up. So we're going to start pushing down the nose with the trim. Let the aircraft start speeding up. And then we're going to try to hold that 8,000 feet. Got a little bit brighter there for a second. So the aircraft is trying to fly at a speed that the trim will hold it at. So as the speed's increasing, we have to keep tagging the trim to make sure that it will remain level. And that's good. So we're pretty good there. We're going to bring our RPM now back to 2,000 RPM. For cruise, and our manifold pressure back to 30 inches, and that is our cruise power setting. And we're holding good there, so we're going to put our cowl flaps into trail, which means they will just automatically regulate for engine temperature. Fuel is good both sides. Just monitoring as we slowly speed up to our cruise speed. So this is the type of aircraft where you don't actually set it to fly at a speed, you set the power and it just goes to whatever it will do at that power setting. And yeah, it is complete IFR out there right now. So that's our inbound heading at the moment on VFR1. Yes, one monitor is very hard. There are little tricks you can do where you can put charts on like tablets and stuff, but David, I'm actually running on 3 screens, 2 different computers, 3 screens. One big one's the sim. I got another one with my streaming and charts, and then on another computer I'm monitoring the stream and got my weather up and some other stuff. So it's a handful, especially if you're trying to do it right. So we're to about 170 knots, which is good. Take another look outside. I don't know where Kevin's got to. Looks like I've lost some of the players. That's fine. So we're going to be heading into New York. We're crossing over some pretty good mountains. We're not going to descend until we cross over them. That'll be around New Lebanon, and then as we come into the Hudson Valley, where Albany is located, we can start to descend down. We do have some altitude markers of 2,000 feet, but the big mountains get up close to 3,000, so we'll kind of stay above 6,000. We might start descending down around Pittsfield. We're going to cross over that. We'll see how we do. We got about 58 miles to go at the moment. We're up to about 80 knots. We are descending. I'm trying to bring us down to 8,000 feet again. Get us heading to the needle again. And that is the Chester VOR. Unfortunately, I tried before. You can't tune it in and listen to it, which you can do in real life. And verify the VOR by the signal it's giving out, which are its letters, CTR, in Morse code. Just faintly make out the ground. Again, we're dealing with that haze from the fire. Dave, a couple reasons. Some people only fly events, so a lot of the control centers and stations and stuff will do weekly events. So, like on I think Munich does Wednesday nights. So on a Wednesday night in Munich, you get all the ATC up. Ground, approach, tower, center, all that stuff would be up in the Munich area. And a lot of people will go on and fly in and do that. And they do it in various areas as well, other places around the world. You can find it. The other one is you have to look at what time of day it is in the part of the world you're flying. So during the week, most people working, you have most of the a lot of the controllers come on late afternoon, early evening. So if you're in, like I am here currently where I am, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If I was to want to fly in Europe right now, it would be early night there. So it would be, depending on where you are, 9, 10, 11 at night. So I might just catch the controllers at the ends of their shifts before they go off for the night because I'm too late. So you got to keep that in mind as well, where you're flying and stuff. So yeah, when we do flights around the world and we're on VATSIM in Asia, you know, there might be no controllers up, but that's because it's 3 o'clock in the morning there. You have that. So yeah, that's another thing to watch is when you can find. So you might want to look at that. Weekends, you can Saturdays, Sundays during the daytime, like from about 10 o'clock to dinner time, you can get a lot of controllers up. So either in Europe or in North America, if you look at the local time for that, you'll find a lot of controllers there as well. So we're coming up over the VOR. We can see the needle starting to swing out. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap over to our second one, which is the Albany VOR, and we're now going to turn to come onto that heading, and we're going to want something down here in the 300 area. So we're descending as well, so we're going to bring that up a little bit. So there's that. So you can go on the VATSIM site and look for events. So if you want to fly into, say, Manchester, you can look up and see if they've got an event going into Manchester. And so you would fly in, either fly in or fly out of Manchester at that time, and that would give you the big event. Be forewarned, events can be very, very busy. So you might want to fly some places with a little bit less ATC than full coverage until you're a little bit more comfortable. But events are a lot of fun. You can find a couple events, Birmingham events and stuff, that I've got on my channel where there was hundreds of aircraft in and out. We did one event, 3 flights in and out, or out of, I think it was Birmingham, and we flew out for one of them. We did 2 flights in, 1 flight out. And the flight out, we were an hour and a half on the ground waiting to get our clearance and then get out of there. It was busy, but again, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So it's all about finding the right time with VATSIM and where you want to go. But don't not fly because you don't have controllers there. One of the things that's good is you are going to have times when you're going to be off on Unicom where there are no controllers, and it's good to know the voice procedures for that. So we often, our tours are all on VATSIM, and there's a lot of times we don't have controllers. So doing the proper voice reporting between ourselves, one, it keeps you in practice, and two, it's good for spacing, especially with other aircraft, because just because there's no controllers doesn't mean there's no other airplanes. So you have to be talking with each other so you know what's going on and coordinating. So that's something that's pretty good as well, and it gets you experience. And it also allows you to fly with others. So again, if you want to fly with us when we're doing our flights and we're on VATSIM, even if there's no controllers, by being on the VATSIM network, it allows us to see each other and fly together without the uncontrolled chaos that multiplayer can be. So there is that. Anyway, we've made the turn up to Albany, where we've got about 40 miles to go. And visibility a little bit better. At least we can see the ground now. There's a range of mountains here, a little bit higher off to our right that we're going to fly over, and then we're going to start down towards the Albany airport. And the airport is, we're going to overfly the Albany, the Hudson River, and then head to the airport. Now the current weather at Albany, I'll just grab it, has improved. Although the visibility is still short, we're no longer strict IFR. So as you can see, we've got 3 miles of visibility. Wind is 330 at 8 knots. We've got some clouds, broken layer at 6,000 feet, which is what we're going to be running into. 2961 low pressure and lots of cloud reporting visibility issues. So we're going to be landing on runway 10. It's 8,500 feet. And we're going to be basically coming in from the east on that. So we're going to set our baro now. So they are reporting 2961. It's this way. Wow, that's really low pressure. There we go. 2961 gives us just over the 900. How about there? Yeah, but you got to remember, a lot of people are new, and mistakes are made, and they're nervous. They're talking on the radio. People can hear them. And sometimes they're not 100% sure what the calls mean. So, especially when people are new, you gotta cut them a little bit of slack. It's not like when I was training, when I was flying, we were eased into it, and certainly you do all your ATC stuff, VFR, before you even get into the IFR. Whereas people are learning this brand new. At the airliner level, which is incredibly difficult, especially when they're also trying to learn the aircraft at the same time. Alright, so we're going to start easing ourselves towards the airport. We're basically going to fly overhead and go into a left downwind pattern. Airport elevation at...
When I think we are overhead pitch field, we're going to be leaving flight 8,000 foot for 1,200 for inbound. For runway, I'd say runway 28, Albany.
Well, you always got to be different, Kevin. I'm still not seeing you. I got him. I mean, you should be, given where I am, should be pretty close. All right. So we got about a mile or two to go, and then we're going to start down. Kevin's just ahead of us. He's heading in. Looks like he's going to go for runway... What are you going for? 28? Really? Oh, I'm going to go for 01.
And I'm in on the roadway for American 1 and take over. Great for runway 01.
Ha 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 ha. 1, it's longer. 2, there's less of a crosswind. Albany area traffic, Allegheny 105, 8,400 feet over Pittsfield, descending to cross overhead the airfield at 1,300 to join the mid-left downwind for runway 01, Albany. It's a nice VFR call out there. Alright, so we're going to head down, so we're going to do a down trim. We're also going to pull the manifold pressure back to 20 inches. We don't want the aircraft accelerating too fast. Yeah, there's that. There's also the fact that when you start flying into other countries, you're going to have accents to deal with. And trying to decipher what they're saying. Not only when you're trying to figure out them saying stuff like waypoints and SIDS and star names and stuff like that, but when they're doing it in a fairly heavy accent as well, that makes it a lot of fun too. Don't get frustrated. Try to work through it, is my advice. And if you seriously cannot understand what they're saying, ask for them to send it to you in text. That is the simplest thing to do, and just say, sorry, I'm not picking up. The thing to remember is even over the internet, it can interfere a little bit with the quality of the voice. So it can become hard to hear. Some controllers are excellent. They're extremely, even when English is not their second language. I've had some German controllers that are very precise, very clear. You can hear the accent, but you have no problem making out what they're saying. I've had English controllers or English-speaking controllers that I've had a hard time understanding. So, all right, pressure's coming up, so we'll keep pulling that power back to 20 inches. So as we're coming down now, we're going to turn on the landing lights, make sure seat belts are on in the back. And everything is looking good. Oh, and coming down out of that cloud layer. That was the 6,000 foot overcast layer. We can see a little bit of the ground coming up. Going to keep an eye visually for terrain. But we're not bad at the rate we're descending and the speed we're descending. So we're 6,000 feet. Got just under 5,000 to go for circuit height. And we are 22 miles out. We are heading direct to the airfield at the moment. So let's see what we can see. So there's the hills. We got the highway that runs down this way. We still got that cloud layer at 4,500 that we got to go through. But the Hudson River runs up the valley here, up the Hudson River Valley. Beautiful area, by the way. We're going to be passing north of downtown, so the downtown area is going to be out over this way. We're going to pass north of it and out to the airfield. So we're going to overfly the airfield, try to hit it at a heading of 280, and then once we're about a mile out, well, half mile, whatever, we'll make a left turn to heading 290, and that should set us up to circle around and come in on 01. We're also going to cheat our course slightly more to the north, just so that we are coming across at the right angle that we want. Albany area traffic, Allegheny 105 over West Steventown at 5,100 feet, descending across overhead the field to join mid-left downwind runway 01 Albany. There's that haze starting to show up again. We're going to pull the engines back a little bit further to about 1900 or 19 inches. That's the gear warning horn. I'm actually going to shut that off. There we go. We can go back to 15.
Okay, we're going to want to take a we're up ahead, Cinders Lake. We're going to be passing overhead the fields in a
15
northeast direction. We're going to be entering left downwind for runway 01.
Alright. Of course, he uses a lake. My lakes have no names. There's 4,000 feet. We're going to level at 2,000 until we have the airport in sight, and then we'll descend down to that final, down to 1,300 feet. Everything is looking good. Still don't know where Kevin's gone. So with the cowl flaps and trail, one that reduces drag, two, it'll just keep the engines going. We're not going to be doing full power or anything, so they can stay in trail until we're on the ground. Cinders Lake is a seaplane base. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, there's a setting in the audio settings for vPilot where you can turn the effects off. So then it just becomes straight transmission. You get no signal degradation due to distance and static and stuff like that. It'll be nice and clear. Alright. So we're turning a little bit further to the north. As we come down, there's 3,000 feet. We'll going to decrease our descent rate to 500 feet per minute. It's going to start bringing the speed back, so we're going to bring the power up to 20 inches again. And we'll turn the landing gear warning horn back on because we don't want to forget that and have that be the cause of a gear up landing. So we're doing a little bit of a dog leg here. That should give Kevin time to get a little bit better spacing ahead of us, wherever he is. Let's check our lights. So beacons on, landing lights are on, position lights are on. That's all good. We're all good up top, and all our lights are good there. It's 2,400 feet. So we're coming up on the outskirts of town. It's a little town of Troy, which is in the outskirts of Albany. Yeah, definitely hazy out there today. David, can you go on the Discord and send it to me there? That way I can get it later and write it down when I can. I got no problem doing request flights. It's just a matter of when I can get the time to do them, and I don't put them out until they're filling in for me being away when I can't stream for a period of time. But yeah, I can do that. If you could do it on the Discord, let me just send it to me there, and I'll make a note.
Albert, I think I'm going to take a we're overhead Menan's Bridge. We're going to be passing over the head of the field in a northeasterly direction. We are going to be entering left downwind for the runway 01. We are currently at 1,600 foot.
All right. So we're just about to start our turn. We're going to turn to a heading of 280. We don't want to be going exactly due west. We want to cut the runway at 90 degrees, and as it's a 01, we're going to go at 28 degrees for the turn. That'll be there. There's the Hudson River. And as soon as we come level, we're going to go into manual flight mode. And I want to turn this to be 01 degrees. That is our direction. And you can see we're going to cross over on a nice angle. Alright, so autopilot is disconnected. The aircraft is mine. Power back. We're going to descend down to flight level altitude of 1,300 feet, which is 1,000 above the airport. Airport's about 280. Can't quite see the airport. Yeah. Alright, so power to 20 inches, propellers fully forward. We've left the mixture rich the entire flight. That's fine. Speed's going to start coming back. Airport's actually over here. Gone slightly off course. Just watching my speed. Turn in so we can see it.
When I
There
take
it is.
overhead the field at 1,200, we're going to be entering left down for 01.
There's the field right ahead of us. Yeah, I don't know. My multiplayer have it disappeared. Keep our speed up. Now, this is where the radio calls will be very important because we cannot see Kevin, but we can hear him. So we're going to be listening for his calls. Albany area traffic, Allegheny 105 overhead the field 1,400 feet to join the mid left downwind runway 10, listening for the other traffic. We have no visual. Alright, so we're going to extend slightly.
Albany traffic, we are established on the downwind runway 01 and beam the threshold for American 1 Tango.
Alright, so he's actually pretty close to us, so we're going to extend out a little bit further. Albany area traffic, Allegheny 105, churning mid downwind runway 01, Albany. Alright, so we'll get a nice rate 1 turn.
And Albany traffic, American 1 Tango, we're turning base now from 01.
Alright. So he's turning base, so we should have some good positioning there. So we're keeping a nice rate 1 turn. That's giving us a constant turn there. Now we're going to go right to our downwind. There we are. And you can see the end of the airfield's over there.
And I'll just have to get back when I take over 35 now from 01.
So power coming back. There's 25 inches. We'll let the speed start coming back. Props fully forward. Mixture's full rich. Gear down. First notch of flaps. And we're going to be going for a landing speed of about 90 knots as we approach in. Albany area traffic, Allegheny 105, turning base, runway 10. Again, with a rate 1 turn, I'm watching for the highway. We're going to see if we can get across the highway. Come around. We don't want to get, that's 500 feet, so we don't want to get too low. Power up. Ease off our turn. And we got to come back across the highway. I'm seeing some lights flashing in the distance. Hey, Kevin's just appeared. All right, so we were further out than I thought. That's fine. Next notch of flaps, power up. Make the turn. Albany area traffic, Allegheny 105, turning short final, runway 01. Albany. A little bit of buffet.
And Albany traffic when I take over, we are clear from 01, reporting crosswind a lot stronger than forecasters.
Full flaps. Alright, so strong crosswind is fine in a tail dragger. Obviously you don't put both wheels down at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down on a crab, and when we kick it straight we're going to drop the left side wing, and that will bring the left main wheel down first, and then we'll let it settle down on the right as well, and then we'll two-wheel it for a bit and then drop the tail. How's that for a plan? You can see our crab angle. So as we come in, we're going to use the rudder to kick it straight, and then we're going to put a little bit of angle in. There, oop. Didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. But that's us down on the mains. We're going to hold that tail up. Let her slow down, ease the tail back. Keep her straight. And with that tail now down, full rudder or full back pressure to pin it, and we are down. All right, so we're going to exit here on 2.8. Allegheny traffic, or Albany traffic, Allegheny 105 is clear, runway 01 at 2.8, taxiing 2.8 to Alpha to the apron at Albany. Alright, so we are down, so flaps can come up. As we taxi in, we will, I don't know what that was. No, other way. Open up the cowls. And turn off the landing lights. Try to stay on the runway. We're going to go over to the main terminal here. I'm not sure. Kevin's disappeared again. We're heading straight forward. Bit of brake. There we go. Parking brake on. We're going to bring the engines up to 1,000 RPMs. Hold them there for a minute. And as I always say with big radial engines, or yeah, small radial engines as well, this does two things. One, it moves all the oil around, make sure that the oil's splashed everywhere for when you shut down. Second, it provides heat so it doesn't shock cool as the temperatures come down. Oh, there he is. Coming in his pink Wonder Beast. Now he parks right up beside me here. We should see that pinkness disappear. And we'll be able to see what he actually looks like. In fact, I can already see his wings have gone normal. There he is. Looking much better. Alright. So we can get ready to shut down the aircraft so pitot heat can come off. Everything else is good. We're going to turn off the avionics. And we're going to go outside and shut down. So we're going to shut down the the right engine first. And we'll shut down the left engine now. And there we are. So those lights are all off. That is good. We'll shut off the cockpit lights. Generators can come off. And we'll get the back doors opened up as well. And there we go. So that's going to do it for today's flight. We're now in Albany, New York, as we carry on with our tour around the U.S. capitals down in the lower 48. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back on Monday for our next live stream. Not available again until then. So enjoy the rest of the week, enjoy the weekend, and we will catch you Monday as we continue flying out of San Francisco on our short-haul world tour, which not a lot of legs left. We're coming down towards the end of it. Should be a good one. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye for now.